Alright, here everyone, we're gonna look at the Rebel Post deck, and I've decided to go with black-white. And some of the changes I've made is I took out the Zealots, the 1/1 Shadow guys. Even though in theory they seem okay, really you're only dealing 1 point of damage to something, and there's not really a whole lot of things that you want to deal 1 damage to. Basically, for them to be effective, you have to get 2 of them out there, and then really it may have been better just to have them deal damage, basically doing two points of damage a turn. So I've decided to take them out to see how they work. One of the big things I think is a lot of the lists only had 3 Rift Watchers, Aven Rift Watchers. And I really do feel, after playing the games a bunch of times, just to be running 4, because they allow you to basically trade any sort of 4 power, 4 toughness creature for just one of them, since they have 3 toughness. You gang block one of them. They can only kill 1. Plus, they actually give you a lot of life back from all the life loss from the early game, since your early game is sort of setting up your mana and setting up a Rebel Searcher. Also, it really helps that we've added Disturb Burial, so that way we can get them back. And it just gives us a nice, basically, cushion against any sort of aggro decks or decks that are trying to just damage or win via creature damage instead of, say, infect or say blue-red post that just sort of locks you out of the game with capsize with buyback. I think the way that the deck is going to be built is we just sort of have to kind of build it to beat the mid-range decks first. I guess the mid-range and aggro decks, like say mono green or goblins or even white weenie. And then the sideboard really will have to be heavily weighted towards beating, say, Teps or even more Infect or blue-red aggro, because I think skewing the main deck to, say, beat, say, Teps, or if you want to beat blue-red aggro mostly, or infect mostly, you really weaken the deck against pretty much, like, I'd say 60% of the field as far as aggro decks go, whether it be mono green aggro, elves, fairies, or goblins. Even though Teps, blue-red post, and infect, I think, are the major ones. Also, I guess infinity is a very big one that I've seen a lot. So I think just the sideboard will have to be like we basically will have to transform the main deck, depending upon which matchups we come across, and just play 1 to 2 sideboarded games, hopefully with a better configuration. So we're going to give this list a try. I have not played it in a while, so we'll have to see how it goes. I did get a practice, or not a practice, I should say. I got a daily event in with Teps the other week, and unfortunately that did not go well for me. It's been so long since I've played it. I made numerous mistakes. I ended up copying just a list from the mothership or magicthegathering.com, and I feel that the list was okay. Definitely did not play. The numbers were a little bit off for me. And that's just my play style, I would say, not necessarily that the list was wrong or that it couldn't do well. It's just I kind of like to have a little bit more card draw than normal. This doesn't have any searchers, but we do have Cloud Post, and I'm trying to think of the best way to go about this. I guess we have to see what we're playing against. We're playing against another Cloud Post deck, so definitely don't want to lay a Cloud Post first turn. Well, I think I do. I think I just want to risk it. I realize giving my opponent basically a free Soul Ring isn't the greatest, but well, thankfully he didn't do anything with his mana. But that doesn't mean Well, the good thing is it's going to be kind of a slow and grindy game. Unless he's running accumulated knowledges here, he's not going to be casting too many things. I'm just wondering if I need to lay a plains for condescend. I'd really like my expedition map to resolve. We'll see if he has the condescend. I guess not. We actually kind of need a searcher here. All we have are land. Yep, compulsive research. I can't really stop it. Definitely going to search for another cloud post and just get cloud posts going. Even though I kind of need black mana to cast Wrathy Trapper, he's not all that important to cast and get active in this particular matchup. You know, I'm not under a whole lot of pressure. Even if I am, it's probably going to be 2 to 1 point from... can't even think of the guy's name now. Either Muldrifter or the 1/3 Scry guy. That's all I call him. Let's see if he preordains. Nope, that's good. We'll get another cloud post here. I'm not necessarily sure if that was right because well, we figure he has another land, so it's not going to matter overly much because he's probably going to cast Muldrifter here. But now we're sort of getting into silly territory. Yeah, I wish I could draw my prophetic prisms. That would be nice. You know, I really think this hand might have been a thrower, just because we had no searchers, and now we're gonna have to spend basically 2 turns just trying to get a searcher out, and we're not even sure it's gonna live, unfortunately. It would be nice if we could find another one. Maybe we'll pick up Disturbed Burial. That will definitely help. More cloud posts make condescend sort of silly at this point. Capsize with buyback though, not so great for us. I think really some of the sideboard cards that we're going to have to be looking at, it's going to be heavily discarded as far as, or it's going to be heavily weighted toward discard, such as Castigate or, yeah, that's a problem. And basically I should be at 18. I've had problems like that before, and I can't remember how to resolve it now, but there is a way to do it. So that way you spend red mana basically on Steam Cordweaver instead of all your colorless mana. Just gonna condescend for fun, I guess. Or prohibit, that does it too. I wish people would stop running prohibit. I definitely have a lot more respect for it, especially the last couple matches that I've played. It's been very good. And I think the reason for that is it's a one blue, so it's not so taxing on your mana. But the other thing is with how fast the environment has become, basically all 1 and 2 casting cost things, it's almost a hard counter in a lot of situations. And even the things that it's not a hard counter for, I mean, there's not there's not a whole lot of 5 mana casting cost spells except for, say, torches. That was a little strange. Let's say like Rolling Thunder or Karavix torches. There's just not a whole lot of things that cost 5 or more mana. You know, I guess some of the place where it's probably the worst is against Affinity, and that's just because the only thing they're really bad against are Mirror Enforcers. This is probably going to be Muldrifter. Nope. And this was sort of the comparison that I was making when we're looking at, say, a blue-red Teps deck over a black-white Rebel Surge deck, is that their card draw is more immediate. You know, they cast Compulsive Research, they get their 2 extra cards or 1 extra card, and they get to make their choices right away, where ours is more of a slow grind that can quickly sort of steamroll out of hand and is permanent, but the problem is that they're creatures. And in the Pauper format, everyone's pretty much running some sort of creature removal because it's so heavily dominated by creatures. The only really combo decks or non-creature decks are Teps, and even they still have people still pack, like us. Our deck is a perfect example. We still pack Echoing Decay to make sure that we have at least an out against Empty of the Warrens and Goblin Bushwhacker. And there's Flame Slash. But really the only deck that doesn't run a bunch of kill cards or kill creature cards are basically Burn. And unfortunately I don't believe Burn is a great option at the moment because you know, Cloud Post decks run Glimmer Post just for free basically. And it's just free life gain for playing a land. So in this particular case, if I had 2 Cloud Posts out and I played a Glimmer Post, it's like I basically just time walked my opponent, since he would have had to spend a mana and a card to make up that 3 life that I had just gained. I'm gonna get my Rav bounce lands into play, so I don't have to worry about them anymore. Since we only run 2 in the deck, we only have 2 more lands that come into play tapped, other than the Terramorphic Expanses. So that's sort of good to get those out of the way. I don't understand why he didn't attack with his Steam Core. Weird. Well, if he's passing here, the unfortunate part is he's most likely got Capsize. He's probably going to end up casting ginormous Rolling Thunder. And that will do it. Is that Exacties? That is Exacties. I guess I should have laid my Glimmer Post. Okay, I think what we're going to actually do now is we're going to create a sideboard for it, because I feel like the deck really needs to sideboard against certain decks to have a shot. Unfortunately, those decks are sort of the major archetypes at the moment, and I don't really want to... It's really tough to sort of burn the core of the deck, but that might be also what we have to do. We may... I'm wondering if Aven, Riftwatcher, and Disturb Burial will be enough against, say, the black and red decks. You know, I think that might... Let's try, and I'm trying to decide on what sort of discard we want to run. Whether we want to run discard that's going to net us cards. What I mean by that is cards that are going to get us up cards such as Mind Rot or Mind Wretch. Or even, we can play the... We can technically play this guy. He has a lot of mana. He is 7 mana. But he's basically a 3 for 1. It kind of gives us something to ramp to. It's kind of slow, though, for discard also. I'm not necessarily sure that's our best plan. You know what? We're going to give him a shot. We'll see how he works out. That's the whole reason for testing. I kind of understand or realize how Castigate's going to go. You know, I should just build a quick sideboard here. No sergeants, so we're actually going to use Terramorphic Expanse for our swamp. And then we're actually going to probably go with the sergeants first. And I'm just going to search for my land just because I just want to hit F6. I'm going to try Castigate. Can't remember if this is the guy we were just playing. No. So this is blue-black. Or blue-black. Mono-green aggro. It's the only deck that I know of that runs Young Wolf. But I guess I'm incorrect. Maybe this is some sort of Tortured Existence deck? Sort of strange that he didn't attack. Normally, attacking is the correct plan of action there. Just because then he comes back as a 2/2. I actually should have laid Defiant Falcon in case he's running Echoing Decay. Well, at least it's only Vendetta, I guess. I don't think he's running Pump Spells. It'd be very strange, I think. I guess not. To me it seems a little strange. 5 mana, I need 7 mana, so I actually need 2 more. Or I can make him discard 2 cards. I think it actually might be worth it to make him discard 2 cards now. We'll see what he plays. Well, if he plays a land and a creature next turn, yeah, I think we're gonna wait till next turn actually. Because this time we're obviously not gonna block. What's even stranger is that he did it with Young Wolf. Now I'm tempted to block, just so I can see him burn another card, and we can use Morning Walk to empty his hand. Yeah, I think that's an okay... Well, we don't get to search, unfortunately. But I think that's okay. We can easily make up the life loss. Of course, we draw one of the Rift Watchers. I'm actually going to attack with the Defiant Falcon because we can't search for him, or search with him, I should say. Okay. Nest Invader it is. Now I kind of wish I had the pro-black guy. Definitely want to get rid of the River Ball just because it regenerates, so it gives him something to do with his mana. So I played with the River Ball probably since it's come out. Completely forgot that it's only a green. So we really wanted to block Undying Wolf there, not River Ball. I think we can actually just race. And the reason for that is because I'm going to cast another Rift Watcher I'm going to search for one this turn, and then probably next turn I'm going to cast one from hand and use Expedition Map. Alright, so this time we're going to block Undying, or the Young Wolf. We should be taking 2 less this turn, just as a mental note. So instead of taking 8, we should only be taking 6. Echoing Decay seems okay. But I really would like to get Cloud Post into play. He's definitely in a hurry to get double black. Maybe he's running Murder? I'm not sure. There's not too many spells that are double black. So we're going to block Nest Invader, and then we're just going to chump here since he was going to die anyway. And chances are we just don't want to take a bunch more damage. So I'm going to take 5. Gain a bunch of life back. Or we're going to take even less, actually, since he sacrificed. So not enough mana. This produces 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're just going to empty his hand just because we can. And if need be, we can actually Gravedigger. Another Shaman's Shell. That's alright. Yeah, I wish we had the pro-black guys now. I'm not gonna lie here. Morning Walk, not so great in this particular matchup, but let's see. What do we want to kill? Could just double block Nest Invader and take 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, if that's if he sacks this guy, which is a good possibility. Yeah, let's do that. See what he puts his counters on. So he can get me to 1. Okay. Anytime our guys aren't dying, that's always good for us. Post is actually really good. Because next turn we can grab Glimmer Post. But what I want to make sure of is that we kill... I want to get in here. Just want to make sure I'm not going to die. So if I kill this Shambling Shell now, let's see. He's going to put his counter on the River Boa. Get back Shambling Shell, put a counter on something. Even if he puts on a River Boa, as long as I still have 3. Yep. So I think that's okay. We gotta make sure. Gotta make sure that we're killing this guy first. Oh, that's good. We didn't, we just hit F5. So, infinite chump blocker is always nice. Okay, so we got the shell back, which was to be expected, which was fine. And we can actually start pumping out 2 guys a turn, actually. Sergeant is good. He's a good speed bump, I'm not gonna lie. Definitely don't think we don't need... We actually could use more mana. Don't think we need the life at this point. But being able to double search now is good. So, what am I going to search for first? Kind of like just get a Blight Speaker so that way I can... I need to start chumping here is when it needs to happen. But what I can do is I can put Morning Milk in front of here, Sergeant here. Let's just go to the Blight Speaker first. Then I think I can get the Tapper, and that actually helps tremendously. I think actually I'm going to block with... I kind of want to block with the Sergeant. Or the Lieutenant, I mean. Well, we're definitely going to block here. So he's going to pile on counters here, probably. I think that's fine. Having Morning Milk live is very good for us. Strange that if he decided not to get back in with these guys, and if he would have drawn pretty much any other card than Shambling Shell, I think he probably would have won the game. So we definitely want to get a tapper there, for sure. And putting more mana into play is not so bad. I wonder if I can just deck them. Sure. And I'm going to actually search here for another guy. Because getting 4 guys active, although I'm kind of running out of people. So I kind of need to win fairly fast. That's actually really good for us, so we can redo Glimmer Post. Give us a bit of extra cushion. Excuse me. We have plenty of mana, so I'm not concerned about that. Alright, well, that was definitely a hard game. I wish we had a sideboard. I'm going to start making one right now, actually. Just benevolent unicorns. We already have echoing decays. What's the what are the guys? Flag bearers. What's the other guys that we want for mono green? Oh man, I only have 2 flag bearers. Well, I'll have to go get some of those. I'll get some of those here while we're... See if my favorite bot is open. No. See if one of the other ones were open. Yay! So we decided in duress for echoing decays, I guess. I wonder if he has the Vendetta. Thank goodness there's not a whole lot of flag bearers. Flag B. See how much these bad boys are. Holy crap, 230. That's unfortunate.